Since the collapse of the federal government and the global economic crisis, the corporation has been building a brighter future for its citizens. Based on principles of order, loyalty, and civic obedience, the corporation has created a nation that all citizens can feel proud of. For the whole family. And remember, Friday is Double Ration Day at Rocket Burger, where your corporation food vouchers are worth double points. So blast off to Rocket Burger.
Meanwhile, the police have imposed a citywide lockdown on areas of capital cities as riot control units
You
are
suspect
dispatched.
someone of illegal
Please obey the
or
curfew.
radical citizens. Please call our 24-hour hotline.
Hold it right there! Wait! Get on the ground! That's some tough boy now,
Does anyone remember State of Emergency? After Automobile Lamborghini, I decided it might be fun to do a game I actually have fond memories of. This one is a relic from the dark ages of AA quality PS2 games, and it seemed to fly right under everyone's radar, so let's find out why. State of Emergency was released in 2002 by Rockstar. Yes, that Rockstar. You know, the ones who've been beating the dead horse that is GTA 5 for 9 years now. Seriously, I know they released Red Dead 2 in 2018, but let's just establish this. GTA 5 was released in 2013. For reference, that's the same year that COD Ghosts was released. And nobody remembers that shit. Sorry, I'm already off track. What was I talking about? Oh, State of Emergency received average ratings across the board. Most complaints were about the repetitive missions and frustrating everything else. Personally, I can't even imagine why this game would get an 8 or a 9, especially with all the other amazing games that released that year. We're talking Vice City, Ratchet & Clank, Timesplitters 2, and Kingdom Hearts, among many others. PC Gamer gave it a 43, stating, "Running around 3D urban locales, such as a mall or a corporate office building in the midst of a full-blown riot is sure to hook a few people. But flat gameplay and god-awful controls will make them turn away in disgust." I couldn't agree more, PC Gamer. GameSpot, on the other hand, gave it a 72, stating, "State of Emergency isn't exactly the deepest game on the market, but with its timers and high score limits, the game is definitely shooting for shorter, more arcade-like play sessions. So basically they gave it a positive rating for simply being an arcade game." Riveting work, GameSpot. So what's the plot of this game? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm playing as Anna, a recently divorced Tupperware saleswoman who, a few days ago, decided to get into juicing after a wine-fueled chat with her longtime friend Eddie Raymonds. So she decides to run to the mall to grab a blender and some frozen, but yeah, that's not the story at all. This is the actual plot. So basically, an economic crisis hits the US. In response to this, the American Trade Organization, aka the corporation, aka the bad guys, build their own military force to overthrow the government. After succeeding in doing this, they established a corporatized totalitarian police state. Say that 5 times fast. A few years later, a resistance called the Freedom started causing shit, which sparked a national riot. So the corporation declares a state of emergency. And this is where we come in, joining the Freedom in an attempt to overthrow the corporation. And how do we do that? Oh, by killing everybody, helping useless Freedom leaders cross the street, and blowing up every building, of course. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but it's an arcade game, so just ignore the story. So let's take a look at the roster of model citizens you'll be doing battle with. First up, we have Mac, who looks more like a single dad, only here to bring his kids to his bitch ex-wife. Next up, we have Libra, looking like she just got off work at the Rippers. And Spanky, aka the dude on the cover. If you were to take a JPEG of a person and resize it unevenly, you'd get Spanky. Like, I'd hate to see what his mother looked like while birthing this impressionistic nightmare. It's like squeezing a semi-inflated exercise ball through a drain pipe. What a big bitch. Second to last, we have Freak. All the terribleness that was the 90s balled up into one low poly model, complete with blonde spiked hair and a visor. Gross. Last is Bull. He looks like he has a super secret knitting hobby, and the last dude who found out woke up dead.
How the hell do you wake up dead?
And that's why he's in jail. And I'm guessing he got his nickname from the other prisoners, if you catch my drift. There's no real difference between any of them aside from their appearance and animations. They all punch, they all kick, and they all do an AoE attack. The game takes place across 4 chaos-ridden maps. You start your journey in the shopping mall, then slash club and shoot your way through Chinatown and Eastside, before finally ending up in Corporation Central. The mall is just a blurry mess of people running around aimlessly. It's almost like they're begging to get caught in the crossfire of your explosive escapades. It does have some verticality in the form of a second level, which you will almost constantly have to go up to using a variety of magic escalators. These are the devil in disguise. You're trying to chase a corp down or escort one of the many assholes to an objective and they just get stuck on them. But the moment you even get close, you magnetize to them, leaving your friends stuck up there to get clubbed by corporal police, prompting a restart. And some of these upper areas are only accessible by very particular escalators. You'd think the upper areas would all be connected? Well, you'd be wrong. It's especially terrible during those more time-sensitive missions. So this is where I'm going to tell you my favorite tidbit that you'll most likely use constantly. I call it the happy ending. But no, not that kind of happy ending. Get your mind out of the gutter. Repeat after me. Quad left triangle. Once again, quad left triangle. What this magical button combination does is instantly beat any mission you're stuck on. Now, I don't condone cheating in games, but when you watch that stupid man-bun hacker die for the 27th time, you will be begging for a happy ending. Plus, it's not like it's a difficult cheat to use either. You could drop your controller and accidentally enter it. You know what that tells me? Rockstar knew these missions would be immensely aggravating, so they decided to make the happy ending easily accessible. Next up, Chinatown. It's just more mayhem and bedlam, but this time it's in a large area of streets and alleyways as opposed to a mall. And the best thing about this map? There's no escalators. The missions somehow became way more terrible and monotonous. I got stuck on the 4th mission where you have to protect this freedom leader. Men in suits just come from nowhere to light him up. It seems like every time I'm dealing with a few of them, another one comes up behind him and kills him. Maybe a change of clothes or something would help with this whole blending in thing. I mean, I don't know, I'm not the leader or nothing. Honestly, without me, this whole drum circle of high school rejects and teen moms would just fall apart at the seams. You can't just wake up and make a goddamn resistance if you don't even know how to stay hidden. Fuck me. So what, you stroll up to the motherfucking salad bar one day and start recruiting the goddamn help? Oh wait, you forgot to design the team jerseys. Yeah, that'll help, Tim. That's very important, Tim. Your mom told me you still wet the bed and you should have been a blowjob, douche. Ugh, quad left triangle. East side, just like Chinatown, is another flat mess of streets and alleyways with a raised train track through the middle. This level is also where they ramp up the difficulty to 11. So this is the first mission. The first mission. You have to rescue some guy named Pierce and escort him to a safe house across the map. But as soon as I meet him, corporation thugs swarm in from everywhere. Some with clubs, most with pistols. And of course Pierce doesn't do anything to defend himself, he just kinda sits there and dies. My other option is to meet another useless guy named Mr. Adams outside the theater. But just like Pierce, he gets killed very quickly no matter how hard I try to defend him. I couldn't beat either of these missions, and they were the first 2 of the fucking level. I even cheated to give myself an AK, but that didn't help either. I wasn't about to beat my head against the wall over fucking Pierce or Mr. Adams. They gotta buy me dinner first. Just put on a baseball cap and walk your own ass to the safe house, or better yet, grab a gun. They all look the same. They all look the same. Why not just wear reflective vests and bedazzled skinny jeans? Fucking Tim, douchebag. When these missions eventually make you angry, please note, it's important to find safe, healthy ways to release pent-up anger. We at Salty Flamingo recommend finding a safe space, talking to your friends, doing yoga, baking a cake, getting getting into jazzercise or beading. These are all very healthy, safe, and positive ways to cool off. Thank you for your time. The last level is Corporation Central. It's a neat Mall Street combo with a park and a subway. Yes, that means it has those pesky escalators, but luckily you don't have to use them all too often as only a handful of missions actually take place down there. Surprisingly, this level is actually pretty fun. Much more fun than the previous 3 at least. That's not to say it's great, but for this game it's passable. At this stage, the game really piles on the bad guys. Many missions have you fighting large groups of 10 plus enemies, so if you run out of ammo or have the wrong weapon, you're fucked. Missions are better in this level too. Most of the terrible escort missions involve you escorting dudes with guns, who actually fight back. They do still die easily, but I guess they aren't that important to the rebellion because only a few of these deaths actually result in a mission failure. Most of the other missions just involve taking people out or blowing shit up, and I am a-okay with that. You have 13 weapons to blast your way through the corporation with, along with a wide array of melee weapons, and they're all pretty standard. Yeah, aside from the severed heads you can use to deliver a real brutal beatdown. Hardcore. I've broken the guns into 4 categories: mostly useless, ultra powerful, situational, and gimmick. The pistol, Uzi, and shotgun are pretty much useless if you have 2 or more targets, and if you have the option between a club or a pistol, you're better off choosing the club. The shotgun is very powerful, but with this game's horrible gun combat, you'll most likely miss your shot, allowing whoever you're shooting at to close the distance and get a free hit on you. Most of my time holding the shotgun involved me mashing the square button to kick them to death. The minigun, the AK-47, the flamethrower, and the M16 are ultra powerful. They basically lay waste to anything that's in front of you with ease. The grenade, Molotov, rocket launcher, and grenade launcher are highly situational. They're only really useful if you need to destroy a building or a car. The tear gas launcher, pepper spray, and taser are just gimmick weapons. None of these are particularly useful in the later stages of the game, and they're way slower to take an enemy out of the fight permanently, so I'd say stick to the ultra powerful guns as much as possible. The Uzi is a decent choice. Its major thing is that the game doesn't give you nearly enough ammo to make it useful. You're likely to get 1 or 2 kills in before you run dry. The other main game mode on offer here is Chaos Mode. Now, Chaos Mode is more of your standard arcade experience, similar to Mercenaries from the Resident Evil games. Your objective in this mode is simple: see how high you can get your score within the time limit. And you can achieve this by destroying everything or eliminating corpo hit squads, and periodically you'll get mini objectives that reward more points. For example, you'll often see that windows offer a multiplier, so go smash every window you see. You can get bonus time pickups, and believe me, the game is very generous with these. My first Chaos Mode attempt, I went for about 10 minutes, and I only stopped because some asshole kept lighting me on fire while his buddies repeatedly curb stomped me to death. Scattered around the level are weapon spawns. They seem completely random and they cycle through the game's armaments, so a new tool for max chaos is always within reach when your current weapon starts clicking. In my opinion, Chaos Mode is the better state of emergency experience. It's silly, chaotic, and fun without all the bullshit that comes with those story missions. The animations in this game can be really dumb too. Look at Bull, he holds the melee weapon over his head like a clown, and when you walk towards the camera he looks like a grumpy old man.
Back in my day, we had to eat our young to survive.
Library, or whatever her name is, runs like she's going for maximum aerodynamics. She's just like that dude who ran behind that reporter at that Storm Area 51 thing. And Spanky runs around like he lost a few Hot Wheels up his ass. I'm not judging, I'm just telling you how it is. You think the corporation are the bad guys of this game? Absolutely not. It's the camera. It does okay in large spaces, but as soon as you're in close quarters, it becomes extremely difficult to actually look where you want. If you're being chased, you'll have to just spin around and shoot or attack without seeing who you're attacking. More often than not, you'll end up beating down some poor soccer mom who is just here to loot some more paint by numbers. Now, thanks to you, she will have to do them in the hospital while she drinks her dinner through a straw, you monster. And why are all these people just running around with random items? I get that people are looting and such, and they provide a quick melee weapon from a gameplay standpoint, but I'm the only one destroying these stores. Look at this asshole. What kind of alcoholic do you have to be to loot a keg of beer during all of this? Like, hey Mark, we're going to loot them all, wanna come? Sure, I need a new keg. This dude just frolics merrily past all the expensive electronics, clothing, and drugs and went straight to the liquor store. Now that is commitment.
This is an emergency bulletin from Corporation News Central in Capital City. The corporation has suffered a devastating loss at the hands of freedom. We'll try to stay on the air as long as possible. Citizens are advised...
Listen up, people. The time to rise up is now. The revolution will be televised. You know what we're talking about. We're taking to the streets and pushing the enemy out. Let's show them what freedom is all about. It's time for democracy again. No more corporate slogans. No more logos. The flames of freedom are spreading. It's time for you to join the cause.
This is one of those games that are remembered to be a lot better than it actually is. I remembered it being an absolute blast. Sadly, upon replaying it for this video, I learned that the cake was a lie. Nostalgia can be an ice cold bitch who deliberately flushes the toilet while you're in the shower. But what about you guys? Did any of you remember State of Emergency? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. Oh, and if you're looking into this game, I have one piece of advice. Quad left triangle.